Hi, I'm Adam C, and welcome to a very special private collection of incredibly famous cars that you will recognize from some of the best movies ever made. And these cars are all about to be auctioned off by Bonhams. There's details in the video's description of how you can get involved, but I'm going to walk you around all of these cars and what the asking price is going to be, the estimates, and what I think they are going to make. You won't believe the amount of money is in this room. Let's take a look. This collection is so special that we came all the way to Paris in France. Some of these cars have not been seen for years out in the public and of course have never reached the market. This is a world's first for so many. And let's start here. So those of you familiar with Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift will recognize this 71 Monte Carlo as the opening car. This is the car that raced the Dodge Viper, and this car was the exact car used in the barrel rolls and the stunts for that scene. So they've reinforced the chassis and that was its intended purpose. This is the genuine car from Tokyo Drift. It's not got much left in it, just a bit of a manual gearbox, what's that, 5-speed? And not even a fuel tank in the back. So this is being sold as a bit of a project. This was powered by a Chevy big block to propel it around during the stunts, but it's offered with a US title, so opportunity to restore this car for 25 to 35,000 euros. That is its estimate. Pocket change, if you ask me. The potential to own a road registered Fast and Furious vehicle used in Tokyo Drift. Of course, it's not just Fast and Furious. This is a replication of the GoldenEye bike that James Bond piloted. It is a replica, so only estimated between 3,000 to 5,000 euros. And even more faithful replicas, we've got the Jurassic Park Ford Explorer, estimate 20 to 40,000 euros. And then we have the Firebird Trans Am kit from Knight Rider, estimated 30 to 50,000 euros. But moving on from these recreations, we have one of the movie cars from Ryan Gosling's film Drive. Now, they made 3 of these Chevelle Malibus. One of them was destroyed, the other one is owned by Ryan Gosling himself, and this is the 3rd one that can be now owned by yourselves. Ryan Gosling himself had input in choosing this car. He was asked to choose which car would best suit the character, and he chose the Chevelle Malibu, painted in this primer grey. And you'll recognize the interior here. We've got the jacket worn in the film, and then that cracked dashboard as you saw in the film. Now, this very car was an original Chevrolet Malibu from the States, and then it was imported to the UK. So this has come from the UK back to the States and now is in France for auction. Estimated between 60 and 80,000 euros. And as we move to the rear end of the dinosaur, we're reminded how special this collection is. This trio of Gene Winfield's cars, Back to the Future, Robocop and Blade Runner, these are all offered without reserve, as well as every single other car here. So let's start with the everyman's car. This was built on a Volkswagen Beetle chassis, and you can't really tell unless you open the door. And the way to open the door here, you've got a hinge. I've got to be careful here because this door opens all the way, like it won't stop going. So I'm going to stop it there and show you the Volkswagen Beetle interior. Slightly recognizable, the prop car from the film. And this everyman's car from Blade Runner is estimated to reach between 20 and 30,000 euros. And on to the next Gene Winfield car. This one was screen used in Robocop, based on an Oldsmobile Cutlass, the Suxel SUX 6000 model certified screen used car, estimated to reach between 30 and 50,000 euros. And then we move on to the big one, the police cruiser from Back to the Future 2. So this is what Gene believed that a police car would look like in the year 2015. So very futuristic. It's got the hubcaps over the wheels, which, to be fair, we're starting to see in modern car designs a little bit, the aero disc design. It's got Sussel external handles here to release the doors and reveal the interior of a very dark Pontiac Fiero. So that is the chassis they commonly use on replicas in the US, and they have used that to create this police cruiser. And you can actually see down here through to the original side of the car. So that's where the Fiero ends. It's been cut up top there, and then just this bodywork has been sculpted around it. This is one of 2 cars that were built like this, and what's special about this one is drivable, and that's what makes the estimate between 70 to 100,000 euros. But remember, this is an auction without reserve, so all of these cars, whatever they get to is whatever they go for. Now we're going to move away from the dinosaur in the room and towards the elephant in the room and some of the Fast and Furious cars. Now this Eclipse is a faithful replica of the original one, but what makes this one so special is this is one of the earliest known replicas ever made for this car. Built in 2003 in America, before replica and certified parts were available, an enthusiast managed to get together as much of the bodywork of this car as possible to create as realistic a replica as he can. So you've got the carbon fibre bonnet that sits a little bit proud. In fact, we can have a look underneath the hood and show you the 2-litre turbo that's been dynoed at about 278 horsepower. All the dress-up bits. This is a working car. Very special. I love an Eclipse. It's got a US title, but the estimate is only between 12 and 18,000 euros. One of the cheapest cars so far. But from a replica car to a genuine movie car, this is Lenny's Barracuda from Fast and Furious 7. It's been fitted with a Mopar V8, and this was one of the cars that was screen used in the 2015 film. The Furious 7 car estimated to fetch between 80 to 120,000 euros. But remember, these are just estimates. You've got to watch the auction next week to see what all of these cars reach. We're going to some more Fast and Furious vehicles around the corner. So we continue with the Furious 7 theme. This is one of 6 cars that was built for the stunts and even the plane drop scenes, custom made with a full tubular steel chassis and an LS3 V8 for reliability and use in these scenes. Now this one is missing one of its doors currently, but otherwise remains fully intact from the film. Estimated between 30 and 50,000 euros. This fast attack vehicle moves us on to another off-roader from the same film with the same vibe, this custom built Dodge Charger. Now with triple shock long travel suspension and a custom tubular frame chassis. This started life as a genuine 1970 Dodge Charger, and now it's got a 6.3 litre big block Chevy V8 that is actually mid-mounted in the front there. And it's still got all of its original dirt from the film. And then you've got the 2 spare tyres in the boot or the trunk of the car right by the fuel tank there. This being one of the most technically advanced Fast and Furious builds from the modern era. It's estimated to fetch between 150 and 250,000 euros. Now we're moving on briefly from Fast and Furious. We will come back to that franchise very soon. We have the C4 Corvette, this one obviously from the A-Team, and a new room that my friends Sam and Dave have found with even more cars for you to look at. The estimate being 15 to 22,000 euros, and I'm being drawn into the new room. So we have Herbie from Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo, is it? This is a recreation of that car, but one of the cars I wanted to see the most is from the modern, is it Taxi 5?
It's a replica.
It's a replica Peugeot 407.
On the Gumball Rally.
And yes, I was going to say, this one actually featured on the Gumball Rally, this car. I think it does come with the bumper. I think that is such a cool car. Estimates around 20,000 euros. We don't think it's going to quite reach that, but who knows? Stig is obviously getting first dibs on it, stood next door. And going back towards the Beetle, Sam's found his favourite, which is the Buick Grand National. So this was featured in Fast and Furious 4, estimated 50 to 80,000 euros. They're trying to release the hood to show it's, what is it, a turbo V6? Twin turbo V6 in the Buick. I just want to say, oh, wow, that was very clever. Well, this one isn't, because it's got a fuel cell in it.
So, no engine at the front, the chassis has been turned round, fuel cell in the back, battery in the back.
So the reason for that we will hopefully see in a little bit. So we could actually see exhaust down there, and inside the car, obviously you've got the actors, Dominic Toretto's seat there, front facing, and then around here, side facing, and then obviously a rear facing steering wheel, side facing also gearbox, so you don't get whiplash, I suppose. And Sam is about to open the trunk, or the boot to display.
Oh my god. Are you kidding? That's really let me down.
What's it got?
It's got a V6 in it.
It has. Has it got turbos? No.
It's just a standard
Oh.
V6 with a 4-barrel.
And the final car that we're going to look at in this room is the Ford Limited Crown Victoria, screen used alongside Will Smith in Men in Black 2. And look, you've even got the certificate of authentication on the dashboard, and inside, along with the aliens, you have the classic "Don't touch the red button" sticker, and there is the red button that isn't actually a button, it's just a light. We even have some accessories from the film featured in the car. This is estimated to reach 20 to 40,000 euros, this screen-used Men in Black 2 Crown Victoria. And moving from Men in Black 2 to John Wick 2, this genuine Mach 1 Mustang was driven by Keanu Reeves in the opening sequence of the film, the successful warehouse jump. They made 2 of these cars. The first one was unsuccessful in doing the jump, so this car originally had a rig on it, and they took the rig off and then used this car to complete the jump in the film. Things like the smashed up bumper and the dents down the side, this is all purpose done by the team that built the car to make it look like it had been involved in all of these accidents. This has all been purposely done. This is not, collateral damage from the filming of the scene. And you can see some evidence of it being the rig car. Look, these were the holes used to mount the rig that they later removed, and the estimate as a result is between 100 and 200,000 euros. Now we're going to France for the Peugeot 406 from the movie Taxi. So much like the 407 we saw in the other room, this actually was used in the film. This is a genuine screen car from Taxi 2. So much has been done and modified to this car. Lower suspension, that classic front bumper there, new wheels and the air vents up on the roofs there, and also this car is open. You can have a look inside. It's not just the exterior that's been modified. Got the new steering wheel. We've got the control panels here that are made to look like they've come down. Well, no, they can go up and down from the sun visors. The car is not just famous in France, but worldwide. A recognizable movie car and genuine from the movie. And you can tell we've got signatures from both the stunt driver and the actor in the film. Probably the most expensive 406 to ever be sold, with the estimate between 70,000 and over 100,000 euros. And then in the corner, we have 2 replicas from the film Transformers from 2007 with Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox. So we've got the Ford Mustang. It's actually a 4-litre V6 Mustang, the Barricade cop car from Transformers, and the Chevrolet Camaro. So being recreations, these ones can't actually transform into the monsters that they did on film, but look how important this car is. I can see why they replicated this. And of course the Bumblebee stripes in the interior as well. Very faithful replica. Look at that dashboard. Interestingly though, I don't know if I agree with this, the estimate is between 20 and 30,000 euros for this, but for the Mustang, the 4-litre V6 police car, 25 to 35,000 euros. And there are 3 Dodge Chargers in this collection, and this is the only one that's not from Fast and Furious. This is a 1968 Dodge Charger, but built to be disguised as a 69 to be accurate for the Dukes of Hazzard. So this is the 2005 film that this was made for, and was used in stunt driving but kept in pristine condition. This was not destroyed. Often you'll see the front ends get bent upwards as they jump over cliffs, etc. It has still got the Confederate flag on the roof. Not sure if I can show that on the tube. It's got the full roll cage, reinforced suspension for the stunts, and it's got the certification plaque as well that it is one of the genuine cars from the film. And if you want to own one of the General Lees, that's between 120 to 160,000 euros it is estimated to reach. And the final Dodge Charger in the collection is this 1970 Charger from, again, Fast and Furious 7. So this has a 6.2 litre Chevy V8 for reliability. You've got the blower sticking out the bonnet, and this is a screen-used car, so it's not actually supercharged. They didn't need it to be, but I'm sure it's got the moving parts to open and close in the movie. I would say this car is just as legendary as Brian's R34 GTR from the film. Estimate between 150 and 250,000 pounds for Dom's Charger that was used in the film. Now we'll speed up the pace a little bit because we've got a lot to get through still. We've got this E60 BMW 5 Series that was used in a very recent film from 2014 called Wolves with Brad Pitt and George Clooney. This car was modified and used to film scenes in the post-shot at scenes, so it's actually been purpose made to look like this, to look like it's been shot at. I don't know if they actually took a gun to it, but this is a genuine screen car from that film, and the estimate is only just over 10,000 euros, so one of the cheapest cars here. No rear interior, a little bit destroyed, probably from filming, or maybe, again, bullet holes. And after another 406, a recreation of the car from Taxi, we have another recreation of James Bond's 750i. So this is a genuine 750, but it's a recreation that's been fitted with a lot of the gadgets. Even look, the cable cutter, as the badge pops up to display it. Estimate between 15 and 25,000 euros. And then another James Bond BMW Z3. So BMW produced a limited run of 50 GoldenEye edition Z3s to celebrate the film's release. It's actually the first time that a film has coincided with the launch of a new car, so much so that they sold out all 50 and then produced 50 more, creating 100 limited run GoldenEye edition Z3s. And this is one of those cars. It's not a movie car, but it is a GoldenEye edition Z3 number 66. Now in this corner is a collection of quirky French builds. So we've got this Renault 21 Turbo that isn't actually part of the sale, but moving on to the 1982 famous Fuego, again from a French film. And around the back of this Fuego is something that I adore. This is very personal to me, but TVR used Renault Fuego rear lights on their TVR wedges. So obviously on my wedge, it had an upside down version of that rear light, or maybe I should film this one, the one that's not been cracked. This screen used car is only estimated to reach between 1,000 and 3,000 euros, and going a little bit higher, we've got the Citroën Xantia, which is estimated to reach about 5,000 to 8,000 euros, again from another French movie. This little collection in the corner that moves us round to another police car, the Ford Taurus from Robocop. This is the 2014 film. It's a screen used car with its 3.5 litre V6. 20 to 30,000 euros is its estimate, with all of its original bodywork from the film is actually in pretty decent condition. I mean, there's literally a few little nicks on the bash bar, and that is about it. It's one of the best conditioned cars in this collection. We then have a Batmobile. So this was built under license by Warner Brothers to replicate Tim Burton's legendary Batmobile, probably the most legendary Batmobile out of all of them. So it was used in the stunt show. It's powered by a Volkswagen Beetles engine, and if you have a look inside, obviously all made out of fiberglass, you can almost tell by looking at it, but we have 2 seats. We've got the genuine driver's seat there. In fact, there's 3 because there's a passenger seat here, and then behind here, it's hidden, but that is where the stunt driver drives the car. And if you want a Warner Brothers certified Beetle-powered Tim Burton Batmobile, you're looking to estimate between 70 and 100,000 euros. Next, we've got this Cadillac Series 75 ambulance. Obviously, you all know this as Ecto 1. This is a faithful recreation, 1963 Cadillac with its original V8, with even the Ghostbusters ghoul on it, and all of the, again, gubbins up top. This recreation's estimate is between 25 and 50,000 euros. But from the recreation, we have a genuine Ghostbusters car. This was used in Ghostbusters Afterlife, a modern film, this GMC. You're looking at about 20,000 euros. Now we're going on to a trio of vans, but we'll concentrate on this pair of recreations. We've got the Mystery Machine next to the A-Team van, the GMC. So 10 to 15,000 euros for your Mystery Machine replica, and over 35,000 euros estimate for one of the best replicas of the A-Team vans in existence. And commissioned by Paramount Studios for the 2024 Paris Auto Show is a recreation of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles van, the Turtle van, sedan, estimated between 15 and 25,000 euros. And then we go back to Fast and Furious 7 with this Plymouth Roadrunner, another screen-used car. This was one of Dominic Toretto's hero cars in the film, was used in the race against Jason Statham's character. Estimate between 80 and 120,000 euros for this car that was used in the film. We now have the Ford Gran Torino, obviously Starsky and Hutch's car. This is a piece of artwork. I love the Gran Torino. It's got their light beacon on the roof. This is a faithful recreation with Starsky and Hutch embroidered, estimated between 25 and 35,000 euros. Now we're on to the final 4 cars of this collection in the room, but there is also memorabilia to look at and a few cars outside, so stay tuned for those. There's a lot more to see, but we're going to begin with the Volkswagen Jetta from the Fast and the Furious. So whilst this is a faithful recreation of Jesse's VR6 powered Jetta from the legendary film, one thing it does have is brake calipers. That's very important for stopping. So it is a replica without that minor mistake in the film that everyone goes on about. Even the steering wheel is correct on this car. We've got all of the stickers and branding around this car. The Paul Walker sticker, commemoration to his life. This one is estimated to fetch between 20 and 30,000 euros for your Jetta. Now this one is fascinating. So this was originally a 6-cylinder Chevrolet Camaro, but that did not matter because this car was never intended to drive in the movie. This was once again in Fast and Furious 7. It's a car that had screen time in the scenes that Tyrese Gibson fell from the sky, from the plane. So it was mounted on a rig and with a green screen background, and a lot of jigging around was used to replicate it falling from the sky. So it's all very accurate from the outside and inside the car, but never needed an engine because that was its only intended purpose. And as a result, for a non-driving car in the film, the estimate is between 60 to 100,000 euros. Now we have the final pairing of the collection, Paul Walker's cars from the film. So we have the R34 GTR and the Mitsubishi Evo. So we start off with this faithful recreation of the R34 GTR, except for the fact that this is a GTT that's still fitted with its factory 2.5 litre RB25, but it's got all the graphics, all the bumper and bodywork is all accurate. Maybe the stripes are a little bit too light, we were thinking, but look, even on the front, this is all very accurate from the film. Even the interior. So you'll notice it's only got the single bucket seat because next door to that we have the nitrous oxide canisters that you can reach around and grab. You've got the manual gear shifter, again very accurate to the R34 GTR. The correct steering wheel as well with the NOS buttons and the side skirts. The body kit is correct. The wheels are correct as well. So despite it being a GTT, so much effort has gone in to resemble that GTR appearance, those wide arches around this car and the spoiler that just gets crudely bolted on. So the funny thing about these cars is this has become a legendary look, but if someone was to create this kind of look for a GTT Skyline today without Fast and Furious's influence, I think people would say, what are you doing? Why have you got blue racing stripes? Why are they about a foot apart from each other? What's with all the graphics up there? But Fast and Furious has ingrained this into our minds as the legendary JDM car, and they have single-handedly helped the JDM market thrive, especially in the US. So have a think. What do you think a 400 brake horsepower with the C West body kit R34 GTT would be? They're estimating between 70 and 130,000 euros for this recreation of the Too Fast, Too Furious R34 GTR. Now we move on to probably the most important car of the collection, but this is not our final stop. So this was Brian's Mitsubishi Evo 7 or 8. So when creating the film Too Fast, Too Furious, they initially went to Nissan and even Opel to use an Opel Speedster for the hero car for the movie. But none of those happened because Mitsubishi were the ones to step forward and supply some Evos and some Eclipses for the film. Now, the trouble with the Mitsubishi Evo is the Evo 7 that they were supplying was not actually ever sold in the US, but the next Evo, the Evo 8, was due to be sold in the US, and being a US film, they wanted to promote the Mitsubishi Evo 8 a little bit more. Also, the Evo 7s were soon to just go out of trend as well, so the Evo 7 was not wise, but that was what they ended up with, and as a result of that, they had to customize it to kind of distract people into believing this was the new Mitsubishi Evo. So we first go round to the back of the car. This, as I say, is the genuine car that Paul Walker drove. This is stunt car number 1, according to Craig Lieberman. This is the car that has the full power, because some of them are detuned because they weren't used for the racing and driving scenes, but this is the car, and this car has featured so much in the film. Not a lot of cars in films feature from the start to the finish, but this one's got like 15 minutes of screen time. This is probably the most legendary car in Fast and Furious history, and is due to make an obscene amount of money. Now, as I was saying earlier, they had to go to Mitsubishi's parts bin, or even aftermarket Mitsubishi Lancer rear lights. So these lights are not for an Evo, they're for a Mitsubishi Lancer, and that is why it's a narrower shape than the Evo, because obviously the original Lancer was just a narrow body, and then obviously the Evo, the four-wheel drive version of the Lancer, has those bulge arches as well. So these are Mitsubishi Lancer aftermarket rear lights on this, and that's why they did it, to try and disguise the fact that this is a Evo 7, but weirdly, it is actually badged as an Evo 7, but that is the reason that they have these rear lights. So only 4 Mitsubishi Evo 7s were provided for the film, and to find the most striking colour for the movie, this candy green is what they chose. This one has had a bit of restoration, and that is why it is so impeccably clean. And as I said, this is hero car number 1. So as a result, we've got the 4G63 2-litre Mitsubishi 4-cylinder engine providing 330 horsepower. This car has the maximum amount of power out of all 4 cars, and you can see actually they originally were finished in blue. The wheels are in mint condition, and we can actually have a look inside to see the mileage on this car. Look at the graphics down the side. You've got Mitsubishi Evo on the side of the Mitsubishi Evo. So inside this car we have the interior, and it's displaying less than 10,000 kilometers in this car. You've got the 5-speed manual, the all-wheel drive Mitsubishi Evo, and signatures on the dashboard. And even in the door shuts, that cosmic colour candy lime gold paintwork has been retained. I cannot stress how beautiful this car is, and the condition of it is impeccable. And the estimate for this car, if anything, I think it's a bit too low, and this has the highest estimate out of any other car for this collection. Earlier this year, a screen-used car from the Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, Hans RX-7, the Veilside Gen 2 kit on it, that fetched $1.2 million. So I'm absolutely expecting this to be a 7-figure car. The estimate is only up to about 500,000 euros. I think this is going to be even higher than that. This is the car to watch, and this is the car that everyone is watching, and we are so privileged to be invited down here by Bonhams in France to witness this collection and the car. So let me know in the comments, between £250,000 to €500,000. That's between £220,000 to £440,000. We all genuinely believe that this is going to fetch so much more, with the unfortunate passing of Paul Walker, and this being one of his hero cars in the film, being the hero car in Too Fast, Too Furious. Stunt car number 1, the car that was seen the most in the film out of all other cars. Everyone vibes and raves about the R34 GTRs of Fast and Furious, and even the Dodge Chargers, but this is almost an unsung hero in comparison, and I'm so looking forward to watching the Bonhams auction and seeing what this car can fetch. Let's have another look. Even the rear end here is absolutely spotless. Rear interior there. These seats have probably never been used. And then we've got House of Colour there, who provided the paint for this car. Big spoiler, adjustable look. You can move the spoiler there. on the back of the Evo 7. And then the only bit of imperfection I can see here is by the heat of the exhaust. But to conclude the video, a little world exclusive, another world exclusive, a startup for the Mitsubishi Evo. But there we have it for its final position, the Mitsubishi Evo at the Bonhams auction. I cannot wait to watch what all of these cars reach, and you can too. There's details in the video's description. A huge thanks to Bonhams in Paris for allowing us to fly over and film these cars with such short notice. Amazing to see this collection indoors and a few outdoors as well. But I hope you enjoyed that video, something a bit different to normal. But for now, thanks for watching.